Call this meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Moore? Here. Mrs. Thompson? Here. Mr. Gray?
Here.
Mr. Bittner,
Here.
Ms. Wong? Here. Mr. Lunder?
Here.
Mr. Johnson?
Here. Approval of the minutes from the regular meeting of council, July 8th, 2025. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
Yes. I'd like to request that a description of the amendment that was made to correct the June 24 meeting minutes be recorded, because the correction actually corrects the outcome of the vote from passed to failed. Therefore, I move to amend the July 8 meeting minutes to read that the motion was to amend the June 24, 2025 meeting minutes to correct the vote outcome on the passage of 2025-R-24 to failed by a vote of 0-7.
Is there a second to the motion? Second by Mr. May, motion made by Ms. Wong, second by Mr. Bittner. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Thompson?
Aye.
Mr. Gray?
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong?
Aye.
Mr. Lunder?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye. Motion to approve. Are there any additional additions or corrections to the minutes? Believe we had a couple other corrections, the votes.
Just wanted to request clarification of who made and seconded the motions for that amendment, as well as the motion for approval of the minutes as amended.
Yes, so currently the minutes say this is more twice. It's changed now. It's, what is it corrected to?
Mrs. Moore, Mrs. Wong.
Mrs. Moore and Mrs. Wong. Okay, is there a motion to, is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay. Motion made by Ms. Wong, second by Mrs. Thompson. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Thompson?
Aye.
Mr. Gray?
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong?
Aye.
Mr. Lunder?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye. Anything else? Any other additions or corrections to the minutes? Motion passes.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Bittner, second by Mrs. Thompson for passage as amended. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Moore?
Aye.
Mrs. Thompson?
Aye.
Mr. Gray?
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong?
Aye.
Mr. Lunder?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye. Correspondence. Clerk, do we have any correspondence this evening? Does any member of council have correspondence this evening they wish to share? Hearing none, we'll move on to administrative department head reports. Mayor and Safety Director, Mr. Eva, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Johnson, members of council, public here this evening. First off, in the fire department, the battalion chief Ray Padawana has decided to retire. His last day was July 31st of this year. He's been with Lynn Lake since 1992. We wish him well in his future endeavors. We also, Chief McCaskill was able to get a firefighter exposure to environmental elements grant for $5,430.30. This will allow us to purchase safety equipment, firefighting hoods and gloves for the department. Also, police department, Officer Clay Bradick went through an extensive selection process and was selected as a new member of the Mentor SWAT team by Chief Gunship Mentor. The fire department report for July, there were 116 calls for service, 32 fire service calls, 84 rescue EMS calls. Those 84 calls, 10 calls were for invalid assist. There were no calls required in Narcan. Department training, EMS drills at the top of this trauma. Department shift drills for the month of July, EMS with blast injuries. Fire was helicopter landing zone class. The fire department oversaw the annual fireworks show at the Manor Harbor Yacht Club. They also hosted a reading event at the library. The annual ladder testing was complete. We also had department members participate in the Lake County active shooting drill held at East Lake North High School. Fire safety inspection was. Service anniversaries in July. Italian Chief Kaninsky, 34 years, Chief Prochasko, 27 years, Captain Campaign, 15 years, firefighter Baker, 2 years. Also, Mr. Bittner requested, a fire inspection from Manor Beach Park. I sent that to all council members. The last time that there was, a fire inspection at Manor Beach Park was 2019. We were able to get with, Captain Campaign and also Brian Mead from Manor, to go through cooperative inspection. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Chief Pachasko, for the update on the dorm, annex assessment.
Good evening. So we had a company come in and do an air quality assessment investigation of the dorms. Through that assessment, they didn't find any black mold. The mold types that they did find in there are your everyday indoor, outdoor molds that everybody's exposed to on a daily occurrence. So our next step is to address the root cause, which is excessive moisture. They did find that one of the bedrooms did have a higher level of moisture than the other areas of the dorm. So our steps that we're gonna take is replacing the roof and the siding that we've discussed with council. They are going to install a moisture barrier wrap prior to putting the siding on. We are going to have the bathroom vents properly vented out through the roof. Currently, they're not properly vented. And then we're exploring having a dehumidifier in the building. Once those improvements are done, we are having a certified company come in and do cleaning and mitigating of the areas identified in the assessment that was conducted by the company. Thank you.
I have motor.
Okay. Board Administrative Director, Ms. Martin, good evening.
So all the welcome to Manor on the Lake signs have been placed except for Maplewood because they were waiting for input on where to put the sign because facilities are in the same location as where that Manor at Lake border is. Like. But all but one are up. A letter went out to the residents bordering the Min fence on 8/7/2025, letting them know when to start pulling down the fence and speed. I have a copy that the clerk is like. We will start the tear down of the apartment side first and have the new fence installed on the housing side first. To try and minimize the time the houses will be without a fence. In order to do the job correctly and efficiently. It is not possible to take down and replace section by section. In order for a fence to be straight and have consistent height, all the posts need to be placed before the pickets can be added. And then the project on Southland is 50% complete. We've had only one anonymous complaint about the dust, which was called in yesterday. And the contractor said they will do a better job at sweeping and wetting down the streets before leaving at the end of the day. And that's it.
Thank you. Law Director, Ms. Schulte, good evening.
Anything I know for today.
Thank you. Police Chief, Chief Forsyth, good evening.
We'll do the oath of office for Sergeant Precinct.
And he's there. It's in speech. I never wrote this. Solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution, that I will support the Constitution of the United States, and of the state of Ohio, that I will in all respects, observe the provisions of the charter, and ordinances of the city. For the city of Monroe, and will faithfully discharge my duties. as a full-time sergeant, for the Mount Island Lake Police Department, for the Mount Island Lake Police Department. Yeah. Yeah. Very good.
Wow. 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 Wow.
Thank you, let's step over the cord. Younger days. Yeah, I mean, that's Jesus. Just future questions. Just a few awards and then I'll be. Lieutenant Messenger. 2024 Lieutenant Messenger continued to lead numerous community programs, a responsibility she undertakes every year. She plays a vital role in keeping the department operating efficiently by managing scheduling, report management, public records requests, and various other tasks. This year, Lieutenant Messenger also handled a sensitive rape case that involved a lengthy investigation with multiple agencies across several states. Their attention to detail and thoroughness contributed to securing indictments and achieving justice for the young victim. For these reasons, Lieutenant Messenger is being honored with the Exceptional Service Award. Sergeant Brodzinski. In 2024, Kevin Brodzinski made several changes to his schedule to support the department. He adjusted his availability to cover shifts. He worked the highest amount of overtime in the department, now that you want it. Took on numerous school resource officer shifts at Lake Elementary, all while maintaining a high level of productivity. Additionally, Kevin became the department's new taser instructor and has excelled in training all officers. For these reasons, Kevin's being honored with the Exceptional Service Award. Officer Caius. In 2024, Barry Caius volunteered for additional patrol shifts to support his department's shift coverage needs, including school resource officer shifts. The students, teachers, and staff at Lake Elementary hold him in high regard, which has positively influenced the department's image. He has also responded to rescue calls, providing medical care until the fire department arrived. The amount of time he works is commendable, considering he's a full-time firefighter for the city of Cleveland. For these reasons, Barry is being honored with his exceptional services. Thank you, Brady.
In 2024, Clay Brady was assigned to the Detective Bureau in anticipation of a vacancy in 2026. Clay has handled several felony investigations involving rape, sexual assault, and child pornography. Clay has been very successful in solving these cases, resulting in successful prosecutions. Clay has received several compliments, not only from the supervisors, but also from officials in Lake County. In addition to his duties in the Detective Bureau, he also oversees the department's firearms training program. Member of the U.S. Marshals Violent Fugitive Task Force, and patrols the city as coverage, responding to calls for service and enforcing traffic codes. For these reasons, Clay is being honored with Officer of the Year for 2024.
That's it. And if anybody who doesn't wish to stay for the rest of the meeting, can of course depart, will be sad. All right, we'll move on to questions to administrative and department heads. Who has questions? Yes. Mrs.
I know at the last council meeting, we talked about possibly the insurance company would cover the roof. Do we have any news back on that for the dorm room?
The insurance is not gonna cover anything. They decided, the moisture was, because there was like a moisture problem, that they wouldn't cover the chiller. Plus it also wasn't highly toxic mold. And the roof was more about, he said like wear, than it was about like gutter damage.
Okay. Thank you.
Other questions? Yes.
First, I want to say thank you to the safety forces. They do a great job, police and fire, keeping our community safe. Commend all the officers on their awards tonight and Sergeant Brzezinski on his promotion. I do have a question though. I recently saw a post on Facebook where the ladder truck that we've had a lot of discussion about and the safety around using that ladder truck was one of the biggest things in our discussion and replacing that truck, but I've been seeing it out around town and pictures of posts on Facebook of it being used. I just it makes me question, is it safe to use? And if it's not safe to use, why do we have firemen climbing up the ladder on it?
I wasn't aware that people were climbing up on it. I know that it was out here during ladder testing.
Mhm.
I will have to look into that and get back to you on it.
Other questions?
It was on Facebook, with the ladder up helping a resident with their flag. And it was on Facebook.
Yeah, I had a couple of questions. Let's see. First question, since the police chief's here, any updates on the future of dispatch, the timeline or any of that, like,
I waiting on a quote from the city of Monterey,
okay,
hoping that we see that will give us 3 calls. And we can make a decision and move.
thank you. Yeah, for the administrative director, you set a date for tearing down the fence of April 8th or August 18th. And you decided that before the bids were done for the fence. Do you know how long it's going to take until they are able to actually start putting up fence?
But they have to have the fence completed by October 30th.
Right, but I'm just trying to get an idea for the residents, how long that they can anticipate not having a fence up. Because ideally, you know, the less time, the better.
Well, I need at least. The service needs time to take it down and get rid of all of it, like all the concrete posts out. Take all the posts and everything to the dump, I mean, so. That's not something that they just consistently do like 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. They need to also keep up with our other activities, so. Between August 18th and October 3rd.
Because that's a very long time for these people to not have a fence, especially since, you know, this was a whole concern. I'd like us to find a better way to do this. I mean. It seems rather unreasonable to me for a resident to have to be without their fence for that long of time. Yeah, I know when I had my fence completely replaced, it wasn't down for months. I mean, that's literally months.
It's 2,000 linear feet of fence. It's 2,000 feet of fence.
I'm aware how long it is. But the length is irrelevant to me in the long run. It's really about how long these people are gonna be without a fence. And I think we should look at a better way to do that if we can. And so, Mayor, I encourage you to
We'll look into it.
see what we can do, because,
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just for the residents that, you know, are gonna suffer because of it. You know, ideally, we should do something for them.
I don't know if it's most appropriate to ask this question now or when we're considering the fence bid, but. I mean, many times we may give them the bid, but many times companies are just booked out. And so if we discover after engaging them that they actually are unable to begin until like, say, October, then. Even though our service department needs time to take down the fence and dig out the concrete post, that we may postpone beginning that. So that the time the residents are without a fence is not prolonged even further based on when the fencing company can actually begin, but. If we haven't engaged them, do we know when they can start? They committed to that?
Well, I can't officially tell you that because until you sign
Right.
the resolution, but they can start October 1st as of right now.
Okay.
And service also has more cracks. They already did a whole street developer for crack sealing. And they plan on doing more this year. So you have to fit in like everything they need to do. So I told them to take down the apartment side first and get rid of that first, remove all the concrete posts first. Maybe that'll take a month for you to get to the residential. But until they start working on it, I'm not, I mean, I'm gonna guarantee something that I'm not sure of.
We're gonna try to minimize the residential size of the amount, because, you know, we know in the past, we don't want people rummaging through yards and things like that. We know people have pets, and the pets have to be tied up or something for a period of time. And as Ms. Martin said, work on the apartment side first, and then, you know, try to minimize on the residential side how long that fence is down, and then the new one's back on.
Mr. Bittner, you had something?
So I was gonna wait until the ordinance about the fence, but I have a question on the. How we pick the contract. How the bid process works. From the point of receiving the bids, who's involved? And then how is that decision then up to? Describe it to me.
What do you mean by who's involved?
Who is the,
I decide, I put
Just
it
you.
together, and I decided.
so this is solely decided by. Nobody else looks at it.
Well, it's sent to everybody, it's public.
If I can maybe elaborate them, the bid is put together by certain specifications.
Correct.
So when Ms. Martin put it together after, you know, the appropriation was approved, there were certain conditions in there, criteria for that had to be met by each of the bidders. And I know what you mean. In this case, the lowest bidder was missing certain criteria.
So yes, you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I would like all council to receive the bids. From. I have four. I'm glad I heard that. That's what I'm saying.
I have a question, like, how do you decide what the criteria are for the fence? Like, what are the criteria that was used for the fence?
Still,
But how did you make that decision that that's what we need?
I did research and I had quotes from previous people before beforehand, so. I just took all the best materials and then put them together.
Just asking, because I don't know how you decide, how you set criteria for a specific fence, that's why I'm asking. Anything else? Yes.
Service director, there's currently no stop sign at Live Oaks and Southland, but is currently tied to a pallet and a construction area.
Where, repeat that, sorry.
Southland and Live Oaks. The east facing sign is currently tied to a pallet which is tied to a construction.
Make sure that's back up tomorrow.
Any other questions? Okay, then we will go in, we're gonna have an executive session, no. All right, somebody want to make a motion to go into executive session for conferences with an attorney for the public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are subject of pending or imminent court action. Motion made by Mr. Bittner, second by Mrs. Thompson. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Moore,
Aye.
Mrs. Thompson.
Aye.
Mr. Gray.
Aye.
Mr. Bittner.
Aye.
Ms. Wong.
Aye.
Mr. Lunder.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. We are going into executive session.
I'll be up there. Is that right? And the other one that's involved. This is the one that's.
The executive session, so this one was towards, an amending the word situation. Yeah. So they back there. I. Yeah.
And I just looked for.
No, we're not, executive session, because I asked, there's something I don't know, now, and I've been there for 9 years, and they go back and just have a conversation. No, they've heard at least the small sections of mine. You know?
there.
But that's, those are. They know, they don't have. Not. Yeah. I mean, it's better than nothing. They did a bunch in like.
I know that.
How hard is it? What I know. Our tax, we did an hour for 20 years. And it was right about it. The donates found it. They got okay, sure. Hi. Thank you. I didn't know. Yeah, Mr. Myers said, really just popped. Yes. And then she's what? Yeah.
Oh, I always say so here.
Right, yeah, I had tons.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? Yes, we do, we're like, no, share.
Not like I know you're saying.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, we have a couple more guys in between, so we'll see.
You know, where there's where the.
No, my brother was a junior and. So, yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's supposed to be on my social security anyway, but.
Didn't always look into it. Yeah, no, it was my brother's happy that this growing up, so I told her, like, you don't want that, and he was like, no, get me either. So, yeah,
We never saw them do.
no, they never did. They both just went by their first Airbnb.
I'll see what's nice about there. They don't really know, that's other, like, yeah. Six or less of that. Spread out his piece. And that's all.
Okay.
So, yeah, way off.
Yeah.
So. It's okay.
It worked, but yeah, totally off, absolutely, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I answered, I saw, like, my roots, I was kid. Since then. What's your name?
What is your name? That was Jimmy.
I don't call you so like,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. October 23rd. Yeah, so sometime in that bucket, we're gonna see what he decides. Our first. I tried not now. Yes.
I did.
Yes. Yes, we're excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's almost done, but yes, we have the nursery, yeah.
Yellow.
Like gray and then like egg greens. Great, great.
That's good. They don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, we, I did a green color, I did. I don't hate blue, but I didn't wanna do. I think, so, yeah, yeah, I don't look the same,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, like a darker, like a dark green, but not a dark, but not dark.
We want to
I
get.
want everything that's.
Oh, it's darker than that.
Dark.
Yeah. Cause see, I mean, sometimes it is light. Sometimes it's really dark. It's like a dark and dark, yeah. 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 It's a dark. So, yeah, we're excited already. It's about.
Your friends and.
I know, staying in the house.
It's still bad. Wait till you get older. This part of the.
It's cold.
I got fined $250. No.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah.
This is comfortable. It's just like, it's not.
I think our cold, yeah, yeah. Yeah, this one's around, that's for sure. Get us going. Another bigger, we'll see. Oh, God.
Yeah. Oh, he's every other special time.
And then you turn around and say,
Yeah. It's true.
So many variables. We'll see, yeah, we are. Thank you, I appreciate it, thank you so much.
Yeah. That's what it is. Hold on, I was coming by the fence where he fell off. Yeah. Listen, we thought, well, we don't have. But the grass is. Council president, I can show you emails to everybody. But I know that I'm not getting something down, I will provide everything that I say. I'm not. I'm not down, you are, I'm going to say, you need, and we're correct. You don't down, you really put them on. There, you go. Here's, commissioners, it's so that the enforcement here, it's all complaint here. If you don't have to complain, you're not gonna. That's nice. So very nice to go here to you, so. You said, it's crap. They want to hear. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, like that second. Well, I that's not right. That's what better before I see a report. I like to see people. Remember last council meeting? So I still right. I was just not doing English and have sense of the going. City administration. They grant, they don't get paid a lot. I run something there. And get set as very critical. A lie, that's a lie. And I'll be doing something. But I didn't come this way, you're doing it like, it's like doing something. Not like the picture, when I was coming over here, and she threw. Scratch my back, but you know, for years, your neighbor. Or in this case, we're gonna go after you, and they your facts, even though it's not your responsibility for the sad. That's how it's walking down the way. And if you were, don't stay, don't worry, we're gonna assume. I remember. We're all station clients. And you don't know, what's in I've never heard of it. That's a very good song. That's a destruction on there. You know, I don't think. Like, how about you want to listen to the recording? It's all destroying you. The scenario. And I started to. You also like, you all the emails from council lines or something like that. Yeah, I got work. I didn't really have ramifications on this. They tried to charge me, that becomes fine, it's not like. Going directly if it's the city policy. I said. And I very someone say it, there's one that's supposed to be like, oh, it's. So it'll be one more. So and somebody was saying. All this we don't have. And they say, well, to ask some serious, that's the reality, but now they're going to charge something from years and years. Yeah. Yeah. And putting the dollar. You do understand that, like, this city is, cities that are running, it's almost like a. Wilbur just got there, everywhere, nothing's being the hospital as a loss. Yeah, because the that one was $95. So, because of that's I'm gonna get issues out of the anger guy. Which then charge period, and which is sure. Exactly, because. You can go back. And okay, it says this here, you must be this over. The police chief, the nation is not why. She's still like, yeah. I had last year. Yes, yes, And I told them. You're simple, it's a lot of and be my guest, but sure, I don't wanna hear anything other than, hey, folks, I did someone civil, you're going to be held accountable. Reread your question again. There you is. Yeah. And that's the part of our lot where I wanted to start. Their first time. That's how sad it was. And it's smart. It's very. Yeah. I understand. Just can't go.
I can't say anything.
It's pretty good. Oh, no.
Your word.
If I were you, I'll be sitting up there and tell you. No, I understand. I appreciate
It'll be
it.
clear. Just that.
But I was told about that. That's it. You there's my state on the ballot. Is
All right.
It'll be interesting.
How long did you take a break for?
It says you're supposed to respond, and I'm very proud that it worked before. If everybody. Sure. And then I'm sorry, looking at it, come back and just. Unless you want to.
Yeah. Good. That should be good, right?
Okay, yeah, so even if you want to say, okay, let's just take four votes. This is your fault. Yeah, we have, my money was critical, so I never got into it. Oh, yeah. One scene was what I wanted to do. But. And I said, what's called this? A lot of history. He was old, she ran the whole back last I knew, and it says, he goes, but then I can't remember what to expect. It sounds like a something like that. I mean, yours is an echo. I tell you, I didn't think the same. I knew I want, right? I don't think that's necessary. Yeah. So then delete it. Yeah. Why not? Fill your response. You look at it. I'm sorry. Trying to make it cease, really so bad. Maybe they'll sue, that's what they. Yeah, but it's like this failed. Somebody says, you want to charge you that it's sad, you know it's. But there's still a way. Exactly, just like that's what this one thing here. I would probably hopefully make one that word. It was on the. I was trying one phone for doing like except the letter did actually. There's not like a standard. Yeah, we take water and so this one. I'm trying to tell you the discussion. Each component. Okay, so it's the same. They go ahead and I'll make the entire fence, you know. And then a month they respond back and say, we're in play, with all that other section, you're getting rid of that hands out trying to pay for it. And I think our job here for it's like. Fine. Oh, that's the other thing.
It's on the other side of the
Yeah.
It's been done.
I have videos. I don't know, we're gonna.
And that's just getting up that work. And then.
So we are. I use. You know.
Right, I know. Yeah, we'll see how long it takes.
You know, on the sites and it always, we always had that done right there. She just got to work this lady years ago, so she knew that they were gonna take that.
Yeah.
And that's what it's like for.
You can see the actually 3%.
So you probably right before I said.
Like, touch here is not should be. That's how I.
Like I said, stuff at the end of that, everything. Yeah, that's just that, right, they committed to the first.
Yours was really good. Right. Instructor. Oh, yeah, just, I worked with. Right, yeah, absolutely. So much, I was since I was 16, now I do. He toured around, you know, how can I? Yeah, his dad was dispatcher. Were you really?
There was.
When there's bad animals or bad, other than that, they have,
For seconds.
you know, it's never sealed.
Yeah, you were.
It's
We don't allow these,
nothing, because I was down to it.
That's very cool. I do
They were missing. They just put it out. Something out. And. But this, that would be. They cut down.
I was at two officially, so.
So there's always.
2006. Two wives, there's one.
I know, I'm like, freaking it, I want the dogs, you know, I think I've ever seen. So I didn't make it.
I didn't always have. Yeah, right, short. It wasn't, yeah, oh, I'm fine too, right? I don't actually recognize that, or Catholic.
I flew somewhere else, that's a little bit, that's. Like it's company, police and residential. Yeah. Whatever. Why you guys? Yeah.
This service was on there, Jake's dad. Like the sheriff's department, you know, right, right. It's got. The sergeant stands to be found. Actually, sergeant. So,
They could have just.
So,
Well, maybe they just want it. I don't even know.
well,
Some.
it's some obvious. Scott. But she that, yeah, it's not. She's kind of building.
She said they are so. No.
Right, right. All those guys are. I want to start naming names, I can give it to you. I started in Calgary, but. So I was. And I forget who passed away. We all were there. And all the guys in their class. Like, I was like, pointing out, there's all that guy would find that. That might have been. Yeah, I want you followed. That'd be grand. It would be an easy. Yeah.
And you only got this.
Force.
No, you're. Conversation.
Yeah, he was my instructor. I was a convoyer, so yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I heard that you passed on that kind of stuff. You. That's what I hear. Oh, I'm sure. I had something else. So I'll try to serve slightly longer. Like it got.
Yeah.
Hey, trouble with the short. I got back from Vietnam, just after short. After I. But I was sure he was involved in some of this. I don't know if Concord knows. Works with NDOC, some communications. He started, so right, it wasn't, yeah, started. We had. And then he was on the motorcycle, it's, he was on the ball. He's got 2 years, he's changed, that part, he changes now, and I don't actually, bad shape. Yeah, they study right now as well. Right now, one before he had to say, he was protected. He retired to Austin. He used to call the base. They use very. He didn't lack that. Like he wasn't like that call it. Everybody did. Tell me what he's done for me. The sheriff. Our whole fight, he was good. Yeah. And it's foresight kills you today. I was very good. About 800 years. Built that, yes, full service and we never siloed. And there'll be somebody else who's going to together. Actually.
Yeah.
Somebody. Yeah, yeah, I know, and that was part of the side of it. Oh, it's here. Yeah. I'm not kidding, not sign, it's not on the old side. He told me she was the first, that's one of the. Well. This is not on the grass, yeah, the original price, she was so excited that house was sat there. Was that anyway? Oh, birds. I wasn't. So he came over and they were like that. Oh, right. Those girls, right. Brother, he used to be. Then he goes back. Yeah, better is where that's doing for the feet. That's. 3 steps up. Matter of fact. Yes. What is that?
Okay, over there.
Hey, call this meeting back. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Moore,
Aye.
Mrs. Thompson.
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner, Ms. Wong, Mr. Lunder, Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
All right, we will now move on to board committee commission reports. Parks and Rec.
Yeah, so Parks and Recs met on June 10th at 6:30. All members were present. Went over a few things like an advertising board to place up at maybe 1 or multiple parks, the size. If there was an interest of it, to where we could do postings at the parks for public engagement to help out. We did go over the Fall Fest briefly. There's a flyer that was out. I don't know if that's been distributed yet. We looked at that, talked about movie night for the future. And then, we had the discussion that the board agreed to read Councilmember Skip Gray's email at the council meeting and response. We also talked about her, I think it was Jeannie and Mr. Johnson requesting that, or talk about recording Parks and Recs meetings, make it more available for residents to be able to watch them at a later date. We'll discuss that at the next meeting. Actually, Thursday, the 14th, the meeting was, this Thursday is canceled. We are going to hold a special meeting on the 25th to go over the park design. It'll be at 6:30 at Lake Overlook Beach Park. We'll be
I'm
discussing.
sorry, what was that date coming?
It's August 25th, 6:30 PM at the park. Weather permitting. If there's an issue with weather, we will be meeting here. All right. So on to that. So the Parks and Rec Board feels that it is important to address a recent email from Councilman Gray that was sent to the board and the mayor. Its contents and tone depart from the professional and productive interactions we expect, have observed from elected officials, and believe the full context of this message should be shared. For that reason, we are making it part of the public record. So I'm going to start by reading the email, which was sent June 25th, 2025. Good evening all. I am very dissatisfied with the flow of LOBA has been advertised, discussed, and presented. I would be content with a 2-day timeline for questions, but I am not. Upon a search function, history of emails relating to LOBA, there are only 3. 1 year, 3 emails. 1 year ago, a survey presented and collected from other than city officials, if read correctly. Nothing has been expanded upon this data collected. 2 months ago, a May 25th stabilization rendering was emailed and provided. Never once has there been a discussion of best means practice. Even though residents have publicly expressed concern over current stabilization plan. Tuesday, June 25th of 2025. At a city council meeting, engineers expressed the meeting cutout and an aerial survey. The first and foremost important aspect of LOBA is the beach. The levy has been passed and has been collected property tax to the tune of 2 years, estimating kiddie pool $270,000. And not to mention a check from a representative for $300,000. Has our city consulted with Army and Corps of Engineers, coastal engineering experts? If so, where are the reports? Let's circle back on survey data. The loss of square footage has never been discussed. This impacts everything. Lost square footage impacts the footprint of what some would consider most integral aspect of the beach. Number 1, prevent. Best current practice to minimize destruction and maximize longevity for protecting the land. 2, access. Access that maintains utilization for all or minimizes footprint. 3, utilities. Has anyone confirmed that outflow is protected, secured, and designed incorporated to protect the structure? Protect life from harm, water, waves, undertow, rip current, etc. Proximity of a main utility purpose is for what exactly? Exactly. Number 4, quality of life. Let's protect the surrounding residents, fair, equitable displacement of noise and light pollution, ramps, walkways, parking lots, sports activities, grilling, and of course, swimming. Delineation. It means to separate boaters from swimmers, wake zones and enforcement, buoys or markers. Number 6, sports amenities. If purpose and intent for LOBA is activities related to enjoyment of Lake Erie, sports activities need to be removed. City has 10 acres to create a sports amenity complex with McMinn. Also, non-impervious structures such as basketball courts, enhance runoff and erosion. Same with the pickleball court. Number 7, park amenities, pavilions, beaches, rockers, swings, gazebos, grills, and washrooms. Number 8, parking. needs more and would have to be permeable structure to reduce runoff. Number 9, aesthetic, landscaping to enhance the enjoyment, trees, flowers, color, fragrance, etc. Number 10, accountability. The board is ill-equipped to vision, facilitate, explore, and listen. This board is lacking the technical knowledge. The mayor is lacking leadership, and it relates to spending taxpayers' money. Administration lacks the knowledge and ignores others. Ward 2, Mr. Gray. The response, we found this from the board. We found this meeting or this message deeply troubling. Our committee has constantly prioritized transparency and public engagement. Meeting agendas and minutes are publicly posted, regularly announced at council meetings by Councilman Bittner, and open to all interested residents. In addition, numerous public forums such as community steering committee meetings have been held over the past few years to foster open dialogue and civic participation. Following is a response from the board chairs to the board, followed by a response to Councilman Gray's email. Dear Parks and Recs Board, we would like to extend our sincere apology for Mr. Gray's recent comments concerning our committee and the project. His remarks were made without a full understanding of the process and the meetings that have taken place, and unfortunately include accurate accusations directed at us. As volunteers, we are dedicated to contributing positively to our community. While we are not experts in every technical aspect of the project, in fact, we openly acknowledge from the beginning, we have consistently sought guidance from those who are. We have been fortunate enough to collaborate with knowledgeable citizens who have firsthand experience with similar issues, as well as to receive valuable expertise and research from our city engineer and his team. Throughout the public meetings, we have actively listened, asked questions, and ensured that all citizens' concerns were addressed. At our meeting, citizens expressed satisfaction with both the proposed plan and the responses provided. We are now excited to move forward into the beautification phase. Please know how much we appreciate your expertise, your commitment to data-driven decision-making, and your continued focus on the priorities voiced by the community. We are also sincerely grateful to the mayor and administration, our fellow citizens, and Mr. Parker for their guidance and leadership throughout this process. We look forward to our meeting on Monday to work together to create a beautiful, lovely park for all. I will be available prior to the meeting, and Kyle and myself afterwards to discuss further if you would like. Warm regards, Jeanette and Kyle. Like I said, this is the follow-up to Mr. Gray from the board chairs. Mr. Gray, Bob Parker will provide the relevant information regarding what we believe you are asking in your email. These topics or points have been discussed in detail during the public meetings with citizens in attendance and actively participating. Jeanette and Kyle. That's it.
Thank you. Committee of the whole, envision plan.
Council met as a whole on July 23rd at 7 p.m. All members of council were present. Also present with several members from the Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee and the public. Envision presented an update after they compiled the responses from a meeting with council and a follow-up with the steering committee. So the list that they started with has been narrowed down to 6 items or topics to focus on in the comprehensive plan. They were looking to narrow it down to 3. We did have discussion about if we wanted more than 3, was that possible? And that is a possibility. There was information learned from the Lake County Comprehensive Plan meeting. That they are looking into doing some funding for a lakeshore area improvement. And Mayor Eva is going to get that information as part of that planning process. Members of the steering committee, Mr. Rose, Mr. Robleski, shared some thoughts about the ranking of the items and the impact obtaining Menor Beach Park would have on the comprehensive plan. The mayor brought up the idea to put out an RFP for developers to present ideas about Menor Beach Park possibly prior to any purchasing. And Envision talked about the process and trying to obtain such information prior to having ownership and what that might look like. Let's see here. The first priority that was agreed upon between council and the steering committee involved mixed road use on Munson Road. It was made clear that steering committee and the community do not want to see housing. And the President Johnson explained and clarified the term mixed use, and that would include business and like residential on the property or residential above businesses, and this is defined in the zoning code and can be used to regulate that area. There was more discussion about the written plan and some of the articulation in there, with the focus of making sure that this plan focuses on innovation, has ongoing review built into it and ways to move forward. Envision said that we can add that wording into the plan and was going to work on it. There was discussion about the northern end of Andrews Road, and there was talk about if we could obtain the park, how we can optimize that and some of the ideas. And the steering committee also had brought up that property code enforcement and maintenance is a high priority on their list. And we talked a little bit about the residential and business code enforcement. The consensus was to focus on 4 topics and add property maintenance in. So the next steps are going to be to implement the plan. Councilperson Wong brought up that it might be a good idea to consider having a master plan for the parks, similar to the master plan that we're putting together for the city, and we adjourned at 7.
Good, thank you. Ordinance committee.
Ordinance committee met on July 28th at 7 p.m. We discussed ordinance 250.08 for vacation policies. We still have a few little things to poke around on getting that corrected to make sure everything is read properly. We also talked about ordinance for retiree hire on adding what the mayor wanted us to add at the last time regarding pensions. And then the rest of our focus was on e-bikes. We are moving forward with creating mostly what we would like to see in our ordinance, something that is able to be upheld by our police department. We were talking about having the police department maybe having some safety courses for the kids or any type of e-bike riders. We talked about our fee schedule for offenses with e-bikes and e-scooters. We also talked about chickens. We're looking into that and possibly going to set a specific number of limits per household. We're thinking maybe either 6 to 4 per household. Enforcing, we were looking at changing the wording for enforcing the health and balance and keeping chickens in residential districts, finding them constitutional and applicable to public and safety health. And we ended our meeting at 8 p.m.
All right, planning and zoning.
Planning and zoning committee meeting for Monday, August 4th was canceled due to no agenda.
Zoning committee.
Zoning committee met on August 5th at 6:30 p.m. In attendance were all 3 members of the committee, along with council members, President Johnson, Vice President Moore, and zoning administrator, Mr. Snyder. In ongoing business, the proposed revisions to 1242.03 conditional use permits were presented to the Planning and Zoning Commission at their July 7th meeting. Commission offered 2 suggestions and 1 formal recommendation for change, which were reviewed and discussed by this committee. The updated document will return to the Planning and Zoning Commission for approval of the changed language prior to exiting committee. Also in ongoing business, revisions to 1280.05 conditions of parking areas were reviewed. The committee agreed upon regulations for apron work, including the addition of a gravel standard and a subsection defining when the city or utility is responsible for code compliant repair of an apron that has been disturbed for right-of-way work, and when the property owner is responsible for such repair. Committee plans to seek initial review of all proposed changes so far by the Planning and Zoning Commission. There was no new business and we adjourned at 7:20 PM. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Were there any other board committee or commissions that met that weren't listed here? Hearing none, we'll move on to open to the public to speak. If you'd like to speak, please come to the lectern and state your name and address for the record. Again, this is your opportunity to speak to council. It is not a back and forth with council.
I'm gonna be up here so often, you're gonna think I changed my name to Bill Clinton. With all due respect. First of all, I'd like to commend Council Vice President Michelle Moore for noticing the posting, as well as Councilman Jeff Lunder, the posting showing this nasty, horrible, unsafe fire truck out in the community helping that lady with her flag. I've told you time and time again, you were being bamboozled, and I stand here and say it again. Second, I'd like to condemn Kevin Bittner for his attack on Councilman Gray. I agree with everything Councilman Gray said in that email. To sit there and read that letter, which should have been read in Parks and Rec. If they wanted it read, their committee chairman should have been here reading it. Not you, sir. That's inexcusable to attack your fellow councilman. That's all I have for right now. Thank you.
Larry King, 50 Springwood Drive. Fence. I agree with you, 2.5 months is ridiculous without fence. I don't know where this came from. What is the cost of this fence? Your what?
$67,000.
I can't hear you.
$67,000 for the cost of the fence.
What does that come out in linear feet? I don't know how many linear feet.
It's about,
1,000.
it's just under 2,000 linear feet.
What kind of fence is it?
Wood privacy fence, steel poles.
I would put steel poles in. That's probably a smart move. Costs the same price as 4x4. Privacy fence, if you mean
Wood,
board on board, no.
yeah, picket.
Board on board, stockade, what is it?
Stockade.
Okay, cheap stuff you can get. Um. Kind of. I don't understand, 2.5 months, all this other stuff, what research is supposedly done. I put up a fence in my life, I'm an expert. The man will rip the old fence down, tear the other posts down, you set the posts, you line them, you level them, you concrete them, put your sections in. Why does it have to be tore out and set there for a month or 2 months or whatever it is, before you put up the new fence? I don't get it. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I mean, I think somebody here has done something that, I don't know. Is this fence coming in sections that are gonna be built or on board? You know what I'm saying? Built on site, or is it just coming in 8-foot sections where they just hold it up?
Mr. King, be happy to talk to you about it after the meeting. This is really not a back and forth.
That was my decision
I have a
today.
question.
Okay,
Thank you. but I will allow this for now.
Okay,
Because there are other residents here who wanna hear the same thing, I know that,
Okay.
we're sitting in the back, so.
all right.
So I'm just wondering, I don't see any of this, I just don't get it, somebody explain it. Why it's gotta be 2.5 months and. People have backyards, they're gonna be people cutting through, a lot of people you don't want cutting through, that fence has been falling down for 5 years. Just getting to
I understand. So my encouragement is the people who are here from Springwood. Please discuss with the mayor afterwards about your concerns on the timing, because I agree with you. I would be very concerned by that as well. I think anything we can do to minimize that time period that fence is gone is ideal, because, you know, and I understand we're gonna start with the part that's over by the apartments and whatever first, and then work our way. But let's try and minimize that as much as
it.
possible.
What do you mean, it's the apartment, what, over here across the street? Or-
And at McMinn, where it's not just along the housing. There's also fencing elsewhere, so.
By Lake Reserve over there, Mr. King.
And what?
By Lake Reserve, the apartments, there's fence. Also, if you go past the shopping center. The largest baseball field, there's fence there also. This is not just,
Whatever.
okay, it's not just the residential portion that we're replacing.
Well, I've got several feet property. That butts up against the city, not all of them, some of them. Fortunately, I live behind one, which I like to call them at around the lake comes now. I have it posted. I got permission from the city years ago to put my own fence up, I would not want it tore down. I highly suggest that when they start tearing this stuff down, whoever's doing it, somebody from the city go show those people, don't touch this fence. It's posted. Over there, private fence, not city, do not remove. So will somebody do that?
have no intention of keeping down anybody's.
I know, I understand that, but when a fence crew gets to
The
going,
reason why it's, so save money. The service department is taking down fence, exposed to the fence. That's one of the reasons why they're in delay as well. Because to, add, the fence company did it, right, it would be done a lot faster. If the fence company, did the whole thing, then we would be adding, like a minimum of an additional $30,000 to the fence. So in order to make it as minimal as possible in costs, then we do tear down and everything's done.
you're gonna have a crew dedicated to that, to get the whole thing done at the same time, it's gonna be piecemeal, all we got time to possibly do this.
Well, it would be done for the fence company makes an appointment to start doing that.
So that's why we're going 2.5 months and.
No, the fence company is going to tell me when they can start. As soon as I tell them that we got something that they're hired.
We don't have the bid, Mr. King. Yeah, but
We don't have a bill.
the bid is not approved for exception. By council.
So fence company says it starts in 2 weeks from now. Tear down that fence and have it ready to go. For a month.
So basically, the letter that was sent out saying that the fence would be coming down starting on August 18th was sent out before bids had finally been decided, because not all the bid hadn't closed yet. So now tonight, we have to decide if we're accepting the bid that they have chosen.
Don't know what's coming down August 18th.
Well, the city is taking down the fence, so based on the letter that they have sent out. Parts of the fence will start coming down on the 18th, where they'll start and all that is up to the administration to decide. And hopefully, like I said, it will mitigate the amount of time that it will affect the residents.
I hope so. Sounds like.
Carol Stivinsky, Sunset Drive. I had no intentions of speaking, so Mr. Moore said something about the committee I serve on as resident, not gang. He made comment that Ms. Bittner should not have written the letter from our committee to the council. Mr. Bittner is the representative from council to our committee. Our committee discussed the best way to handle it. As we, many members, thought and said to each other, our meetings have been fun. We announced the meetings very early. We are doing this part development and looking at how to fix it as a result of council's request. So we thought it was appropriate for Mr. Bittner, as our representative, to deal with this and read our thoughts. In no way have we ever not had open meetings. I've been there every time with as many people at council meeting, at our meeting, as you have at your council meeting tonight. The community knew that we were having the meetings. It seems to me, community knew that Councilman Gray also knew, and he could attend. At our meetings, I have seen council members there, in addition to Mr. Bittner. Mrs. Moore has been, Mr. Johnson has been there. And my ward councilman has been there. So people did come. My expertise may not be on revenue, but I have a brain. You have hired a person who is an expert at it. We have asked him pointed questions, very pointed, not just us, but the people from the community. Anyone of you have engineering degree to deal with that? All of you have degrees to deal with everything and every question that you have? No. You have experts and you use your brain to think through, as we hope we are doing for the city. And the people who come, we do listen to them. But I was offended that Mr. Morris would say it was not Mr. Bittner's job. He is our representative. And he did be our representative tonight to do what we asked. Thank you.
Thank you. I do want to clarify that the council didn't empower you guys with responsibility for the parks. The charter gave you guys the responsibility for the parks. So.
But we weren't, it came to us rather surprisingly, let's say.
Yes, but it was, yes, the charter is what
Exactly, but
required you guys to be the body to look at it.
I'm just saying we were.
I know, I'm just for clarification. Thank you.
President. Troy Hill, 7592. Miami Road. Blocks over. The residents of Springwood. When I was on council before. Had issues. That the administration and the majority of council. Never deal with. They ignore them. They treat those residents with disrespect. Even pass an ordinance. That no way it passed up. Intended to show up. Whatever needs to be done to listen to these folks. Get it done for them properly. It's important to me that happened. I was a part of it. They were treated terribly, unfrequently by the administrations and by the majority of council members. I am on the ballot for election to council. In January, I will expect to take a seat. And resume some responsibilities. I would say what's struck me tonight? We're still dealing with issues that are decades old. That decades old. These folks need to be listened to. They need to be respected. They need to be treated right. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, you had your time, you have to wait till the end.
I've got 2.5 minutes left. Besides that, I didn't tell you who I am. My name is Paul Moore, 7592 Pinehurst. First of all, I'd like to apologize to Ms. Skavinsky if she took offense to my comments. Second of all, while the Parks and Rec Committee, I admire what they're trying to do. They're ignoring the fact that every day that goes by that we don't get the amendment done, we have less and less park. So this should have been a plan in place when we first started this, when that levy was approved to save the park, get the revetment done. So they can worry about putting bathrooms down there, and what's gonna be able to maintain. They're gonna be a mess for people to go out down there and do their drugs and whatever else. And pickleball courts, whatever they wanna put in there. They're gonna have less space for it. They should have worried about the revetment first. And when the residents were told to ask to vote for this, it was kind of hinted that they get beach access. Or even possibly water access. The plans I've seen have no include either one of those. Or do they? Thank you.
Anyone else?
Diane Spazzillo, 5932 Springwood Drive. I know it's starting to sound like a broken record tonight, but I think asking us to possibly go 2.5 months without a fence is ridiculous. And it's completely unfair. Pets, small children, like this gentleman said, people cutting through our yards. It's just totally unacceptable, and I'm hoping we can find a better way to cut down on the time that we are without a fence. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Amy Winters, 5938 Springwood, about the fence. So you guys got a bid from AV fencing company. The council's gonna see if they want to go that way, right? Why can't we hold off with the service people tearing down the fence until we get a company that's gonna come and everybody agrees on bid instead of tearing it down? That is one question that was going to ask. Another is, since the fence is gonna be torn down, I have small grandkids that come over. And I have a set of dogs too. I'm a little bit nervous of them running out after hours, you know. Sometimes they listen to me, sometimes they don't. You know, my grandkids I'm talking to. And is there any way to get like, I try to price a temporary fence, you know, I mention a no big fence. That's gonna cost me. Okay, is there any way to get a fence from you guys, a temporary fence, like? I don't get what it looks like a wire that. What you call? You know, like a, sprayer. Well, it would have been better than a sure, something like that. Is there any way to get like, motion detectors? To put up, so their lights come on if somebody's coming into our yards, because it is pitch black right there. You know, if I look out the window, my eyes ain't very was not gonna see who's coming in the yard. You know, I thought maybe, you know, maybe you guys could put up a whole motion detectors, you know, every couple of houses, maybe they shine, not right into our windows, but into our yard or something. You know, that's something to do for safety reasons. Even though I have your guys' fence and my fence on the side, I feel contained. Now that this came up, I am totally. My anxiety is going off the wall. I'm really scared of people coming in, which I hope they don't, you know, I just. A little bit nervous going like this. Are you gonna send out the thing, the letter you'll say about pest control? Are you gonna send out a letter the day before, whoever does pest control? So I know to put the dogs out and the grandkids, so we're not bringing in everybody. So they're gonna use letters sent out. And is there a way when we do agree on a pest company? Down the line, how do we get that fence company come in and talk to us? And say what their deadline is, instead of going by what you say, Jeff. Because what you're saying and what you write in the letters, it's just not adding up. You know, I write it here from the fence company saying, okay, this is our date that we're gonna do, this is our deadline that we're gonna do. You know, can we have them come in and say what they're gonna do and how they're gonna do it? It's just a suggestion.
We could send something out with the pest control, and then also when they get to the residential side of Spring. We let you, or. Like I said, we can talk when we get closer.
But we're going to that end of October for the fence. Now, you know, I don't know when it's gonna start snowing. Is it feasible to put in, the post when winter starts coming? I don't know. You know, is that gonna be good? Are we gonna wait to, springtime before we get the fence up? I mean, I don't believe what you guys are saying in the letters that it's gonna be this month. I think it's gonna be all the way until springtime before we even get a fence up. I mean, that's just how things have been going, so. Please take us into consideration as, like I said, I really, nervous with this, not having fence. I know it's not my fence, but it just gives me security that I'm gonna be okay with that.
I appreciate this. We'll keep you posted on everything that's going on.
And when Jacqueline sends out the letter, you read it, you agree on this stuff, you leave it.
Do I look at it?
Yeah,
Absolutely, before it goes out.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I know, I reached out to Mr. Johnson and they were aware of even the state went through. So now if we are fitting.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hearing none, we'll close this open to the public to speak. We'll now move on to legislation before council. Resolution number 2025-R-26, if you please read it by its title.
Resolution number 2025-R-26, a resolution authorizing the mayor and administrative director to execute and deliver all documents necessary to participate in litigation settlements with opioid manufacturers, Purdue Pharma, Alvogen, Amneal, Okotex, Hikma, Indivor, Mylon, Sun, and Zydus in the national opiate prescription litigation and declaring an emergency.
Are there any questions on this legislation? Are there any motions on this?
Second.
Motion to suspend the rules by Mr. Bittner, second by Mrs. Thompson. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Moore,
Aye.
Mrs. Thompson.
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong,
Aye.
Mr. Lunder,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Lunder, second by Ms. Wong. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Moore,
Aye.
Mrs. Thompson.
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner.
Aye.
Ms. Wong.
Aye.
Mr. Lunder.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. Resolution number 2025-R-27, if you please read it by its title.
Resolution number 2025-R-27, a resolution establishing credit and debit card convenience fees for online payments received by the city for city services.
Would the administration like to explain this legislation for us, please?
So we have, file permit, that's selling software that I mentioned last year. The cloud permit software that we've implemented, they have the ability to take credit card payment. However, I'm sure you're aware, credit card companies charge a percentage for every time you make a transaction. So so we would like lose money on the transaction. So because you can't really do it percentage wise, as in what we charge out, like you can only be a flat fee. If they choose to pay by credit card, then they would pay the $5 convenience fee. But it's not something they have to do, they can still send in checks or cash and do it the way they've always been doing it, only if they choose to pay us by credit card.
Visual.
All right, I have a question. So is this a convenience fee or a credit card surcharge? Because they are different and they are defined differently than the law. Because this legislation also mentions debit cards. And it says the purpose is to help defray the costs incurred by the city by authorizing payment by credit cards. That sounds like the description of a surcharge. Which actually is limited by law to the amount it costs us. In other words, the amount the credit card company charges us, we can't recoup any more. That would be considered a profit, and that's illegal. Surcharges are also illegal on debit card transactions. That's federally mandated. So if it's a convenience fee, it cannot be, I mean, it needs to offset the work for using a payment method that is a non-traditional method, like like online or over the phone as opposed to in person. But the way the ordinance reads, I'm confused as to what it is and whether this means all the current restrictions by law. I don't know, Ms. Schulte, if you have any comments on that.
It should just be a convenience fee. Where are you? Sorry,
Oh, no. I was gonna say, if you were gonna look for something, I was gonna ask another question.
yeah, go for it.
So I guess I have two questions. Well, one, why wouldn't we want to encourage people to pay by credit card or debit card, just so we're not handling petty cash or any cash? Because there's a better chance of theft, loss of cash, embezzlement, you pick your thing, versus paying by credit card or debit card. And the second thing is, if anything, COVID taught us that, being able to pay by credit card was a better way to go in many cases rather than having to use cash. So why not just set our fees for services that we provide such that it averages out that the cost of using a credit card isn't going to matter to us? I mean, why specifically tack on a fee for somebody using a credit card?
Well, we're gonna get charged minimum like about 6% the average. So if we had, say, one of those like $1,000 bond permits or whatever that Mr. Snyder collects, like 6% on that is a lot of money.
Credit cards can't charge 6%. The max is like 3.5%.
3 to 4, in fact, Visa limits it to 3.
Yeah.
We use Square and I'm pretty sure it's 4.9 they moved it to 5.3%.
I mean, Square may charge you an extra fee for using Square. That they're tacked
Because
on.
then we don't have a way to have individual credit card, like get something with American Express, get a contract with Visa, get a contract with MasterCard. And all of those things, we use Square. That's what we got,
Right, with this cloud thing, is that going to be using Square as well?
correct, they use what we have.
Okay.
I'm just concerned about the legal wording, that's all, which, I mean, our attorney can sort through. If it's being called a convenience fee, I believe it has to offset the convenience of using a non-traditional form of payment. I'm not sure we can actually say it's to defray costs incurred by the city.
I mean, Yeah, it's essentially. Same thing. It's flat amount that. If you're using. Money through using a credit card. I would be on that to offset. That amount.
And the same fee is. The same fee is charged to us for using debit cards as well,
I mean, you can take that out.
because there is a distinction between credit cards and debit cards when it comes to surcharges anyway, you can. Charge a convenience fee, then again, the convenience fee can't be to recoup a credit card charge if you're using a debit card, because it isn't. The charge.
And if you're saying $1,000 bond at 6%, well, it's gonna be on $5 is nothing. That's a 0.5%. So we're not getting nearly the cost that it would cost us.
We averaged it out to be the amount of small bills that we pay versus how many big bills that go through. And so it'll just average itself out. Because the only charge flat, like you can't, the system won't do a percentage for everything. And then, so for instance, if you have $100 and it's 6%, $6, and then I'm collecting $106, so it's actually 6% on $106. So it gets complicating, and also what your question before is like, we could go through every single ordinance, like point of sale and all of these things and increase them, that I guess is a possibility, but then you would have to go and legislate every single ordinance that you have that involves a fee.
Shouldn't we periodically look at those fees because we give employees raises and our day-to-day costs of doing business go up with the inflation rates right now? So shouldn't we be looking at those fees every so often to make sure that we're in line with what it costs us to do those things?
That's a legislative thing that you can decide to look at them when you like, it's just that if you want us to add the credit card service and not lose money on how it is today and how its ordinances are in today and not lose any money off that dollar amount, then the convenience fee is the best way to go.
How many credit cards do you, we don't take credit cards yet. This is anticipation of taking them.
I don't know if E2 Square distinguishes between a debit and a credit card. Because it's just a device, you know. Because with a debit card, you would have to put a pin in. And I don't necessarily know that Square lets you to do that.
Our device that we use now would not let a debit card go to, like, it does not charge as a debit card. But I see your point, because if we change the Square to something else later on, like that could be a fun.
Do we have another option that would be a lower percentage, maybe a better deal or option for us besides Square? Have we explored that option?
Reason why we use service, is because you would have to have individual contracts with each credit card holder, and we don't generate enough money to make that advantageous.
What do other cities of our size do? Like Fairport Harbor or, you know, Grand River, or what, do they take credit cards? Have you researched that at all in terms of what? Maybe there's another option that we don't know about?
Not really.
Do we have to take credit cards and we say no credit cards?
Yeah, you don't have to pay credit cards, it's just a service. You don't need to offer credit card service.
Yeah, look, I'd like to hear, we'll find out, you know, I'd like you to look into what other administrators are doing in terms of, you know, how they're handling credit cards, and or if they're not even taking credit cards. That way, we're at least aligning somewhat with other communities as to what they do, and
I know Willoughby takes credit cards, that's where I live, but I never looked into like if there was a fee, I don't remember.
yeah. But if they're charging a fee, is this what they're charging, or, you know?
I mean, it's just like doing a search. There are other companies besides Square that do the same thing as Square.
We can look into
and will be another city soon.
And is there any option, this may be an odd suggestion, is there any option, since we're so small, to have individual contracts with credit card companies, is there any way to municipally pool? I mean, is there any model that allows different municipal corporations to actually to buy into a contract together, so they all get services from credit card companies in that way? Everyone can decide what to do with the 3% fee that Visa's gonna charge you, but at least it wouldn't be charged, it would be the 6% that, Square charges us. Since we're so small.
Anything else on this tonight? All right, this will go on to second reading. Resolution number 2025-R-28, if you could please read it by its title.
Resolution number 2025-R-28, a resolution awarding the bid for the McMinn Park Fence Installation Project to A&B Fencing, authorizing the mayor and administrative director to enter into an agreement with A&B Fencing to provide labor and materials for said project and declaring an emergency.
Discussion on this, any questions?
I would like to read the bids that were sent out by Mr. Barkley before I make a vote.
So I'd like to reiterate, I would like to see the bids as well. Also, do we know this linear foot of the residential side?
It's a little under 1,000.
Do we have snow fencing with 1,000 feet?
Sorry.
Do we have snow fencing at 1,000?
Some fencing's not tall enough, so if we did something to keep our grandkids out or anything, and depending on the dog, I don't have over.
So then at that, I would request that you guys please hold off on taking the fence down until we have come to a set.
I just want to let you know, though, that we don't have to decide on this tonight, but without getting it on anyone's books, it just delays them out and they can schedule it.
Anyone else on this tonight? Hearing none, this will go on to second reading. So that we can review the bids that were received. Ordinance number 2025-0-14, if you please read it by its title.
Ordinance number 2025-0-14, an ordinance to amend the 2025 appropriation ordinances and declaring an emergency.
Okay, can you walk us through this? So the first one we've already talked about in executive session, so we don't need that. But safety department, safety forces, police department, personnel services, the change there and the other. Can you walk us through what the changes are, what we're funding differently?
General services, okay. Most of this safety forces, the street maintenance, the reason why the totals basically stay the same is because the auditor charges fee. We have like these service fees and auditor fees, and they were a little bit more than what's expected, so I just took some money and like put it down so we can pay for our service fees. And then OPWC Southland is obviously the Southland project, so we can pay the bill and then we pay the bill all under the same fund, so everything is collected. Like, so when anyone wants to audit the project, it's just easier just to have a nice Southland fund. So that's just the money from the bond retirement that we're going to collect that money in the 441 that we have to transfer over the 333.
So for safety forces, street maintenance, and charter levy, that was for audit.
Yes, services fee was more than the fees. So every time we get a real estate settlement, like they charge each fund a fee. And it could be, well, usually it's like $6,000, but we had a couple that was like past $8,000. Like sometimes it was 2,000, and the ones that were 2,000, they're like thousand, and I don't really know, I don't know the formula, I don't know why they're charged, what they charge. But it did cover the fee, so that's why the total stayed the same. It's just moved a little bit of money down, so
These are fees that we are paying the auditor's office.
Right.
For when?
but they counted on it.
Lake County Auditor, but you keep saying about properties closing.
You get paid basically like twice a year from the county auditors, one at the beginning and one at the end. So. So once we get the fee for the first half, I kind of generalize at times it by two, but I know what the second half is. So, and I've done that money on that.
Is there a reason on 240 that the total is lower for the amended appropriations?
I ordered, cause I took off the, some of the personnel and didn't add money in it. It's covered under.
Okay, anything else, any other questions on this? Yes, Ms. Wall.
I have a question about how important it is for the ordinance to be accurate. Only because in your current appropriation columns, some of the numbers that are in there are not what was amended at the March 25th meeting. For example, under 240 safety forces, police department, the other category is listed at the current appropriation of 8,800. On March 25th, we actually amended it to 5,800. It actually was a math error because your amended total there was 474,000, not 477, and to make the math work out, what we determined was the error was the 8,800. It was supposed to be 5,800. So it doesn't make a lot of difference because you end up with your amended appropriation. You're really just net positive $257 rather than this apparent minus 2,743 because that total 477,000 is wrong. So it doesn't really make like a practical difference, but I just want to know, is it important for the ordinance to actually read accurately? Because this is not the current appropriation. The other place is in street maintenance 231. The transfer total of $25,000. Again, I know this doesn't mean anything because the whole category is no change. But that transfer amount of 25,000 was removed from the appropriations on March 25th. It was remember we went through and did all these line item amendments.
Yeah,
So I just,
when I look, I put the ordinance outside.
okay.
And
So, I mean, again, I don't think it makes a practical difference because the numbers are all about the same, but if accuracy in the ordinance and the law is important, then those should be corrected. Yeah, that's all.
I have a question.
Yes.
So on street 231. I just added these up 3 times for personnel, other and transfer. I came up with 571,950 versus the 521,950.
Yep.
What's stated in the ordinance that we got, it lists 521,950 for both current and amended. But if you add the numbers up, it comes up to 571,950.
Hey, we're gonna. Put this on second read. Can you review the numbers and just make sure that. They're correct, that way. Before we pass anything here, we make sure it's. What it really should be. Alright, we're gonna move on to ordinance number 2025-0-15. Please read it by its title.
Ordinance number 2025-0-15, an ordinance levying liens for expenses incurred for lawn maintenance and or culvert repairs.
Are there any questions on this one?
Motion to suspend.
I have a question. Are any of these habitual offenders?
and road, the other 2 people are deceased.
So, I mean, I'm not sure how to help the deceased, Dan, just so this is one, by habitual, I mean, it comes up every year, so. Is there any value to amending our laws to begin assessing some sort of a penalty for habitual offenders? We have already in 1024. For culverts and ditches and 678 for the weeds and the lawn, so I'm not sure which one Andrew says, I bet it's the lawn, right, and weeds. Not sure they have a culvert, but. That allows for, there's a late fee if you don't pay within 30 days and that sort of thing, but. I mean, again, this isn't just. They haven't made the payment, so we've tacked on the late fee and then sent it to the county auditor. I mean, this is more, and it's really habitual. There is absolutely no. Intent to take care of the problem. I mean, if at some point. The payment for the city to contract out and do it becomes more than for them to just take care of their property. I'd expect this to go the other way. So. Anything anyone's interested in?
I swear we discussed that previously, and there was a reason we weren't able to do that.
Right. And we can't make a profit off of it, so we can bill for like our time for paperwork and stuff like that and whatever. If we do, it would be like how much we spend for the employees to do it and like prorating on equipment use and stuff like that. Or if we have a contractor do it, we can bill what the contractor bills us and then maybe a little bit for our time processing the paperwork and stuff like that, but we can't like say, oh, you do this all the time, so we're gonna double the fee or anything like that.
Okay.
We looked into that a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
The last time we did, that's the way it was, my interpretation of the way it was explained.
Okay. I know the culvert section actually has a penalty section that includes a minor misdemeanor, but the weeds and grass and yard work does not.
Right, so
Right.
that's the problem, if
Okay.
it's a minor misdemeanor, but then we can't put it on the.
Right.
Property taxes, so. Assessment on the house, so.
It's on property tax, at least we can get it at some.
Right,
One
If
house
sells.
sale.
right. All right, is there any motions on this tonight?
Motion to suspend.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Thompson, second by Mr. Lunder. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Moore,
Aye.
Mrs. Thompson.
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong,
Hi.
Mr. Lunder,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Motion, second,
Motion made by Mr. Lunder, second by Mrs. Thompson for passage. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Moore,
Aye.
Mrs. Thompson.
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Wong,
Hi.
Mr. Lunder,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. Old business. First, we do have some old business, the comprehensive plan. Our next steps on that in terms of. I guess the next step would be legislation. Accepting the comprehensive plan. Did anybody have any discussion they wanted to make on the comprehensive plan at this tonight? Based on our committee, of the whole meeting.
We see the final, after they were gonna make those changes.
It's been said.
So,
To package it up, and give it to us.
He did.
It is. It's in your email.
July 24th.
Okay, well, we'll go over that again at the next meeting, since you guys haven't read it. All right, we will move on. Any other old business tonight?
The only other thing you may already have from addition is the continuation of the steering committee meetings. This proposal is involved.
Yes. I had that written down right here too, and I missed that. Thank you.
Okay, that's what I'm here for.
Good, thank you. So formally continuing the committee, I think we should probably have some kind of legislation and make it an official committee. As part of our ordinances, rather than just the ad hoc committee that we have been doing for the comprehensive plan as it was. Thoughts on that?
I would agree.
Do we want to
Should
keep
have
the
it.
same number that the committee currently existed as, or do we want to, like? I know what I'm gonna do. I'm going to assign this to the ordinance committee, and they're gonna decide how many people totally should be in it. What the makeup should be. Discuss that with the mayor as well, and go from there. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Any other old business tonight? Moving on to new business. Menor Beach Park. So we had our walkthrough. What are our next steps? What do we plan to do in terms of steps? Do we need to have a committee of the whole meeting just to discuss Menor Beach Park?
I'd be in favor of a committee of the whole meeting to discuss, only because we haven't actually had a chance to discuss our thoughts, whether on the appraisal, the walkthrough, the fire inspection report, or anything else, so I don't think we can make the next.
You want to spend the
Decision
next
on
2
what to
hours
do.
doing it now? I mean,
Yeah,
because we
well-
could.
I think it deserves our time and attention, so no, I don't think we should tack it on the butt for this.
I agree, a meeting or committee of the whole.
Okay.
Yep,
And may allow public input as well.
correct.
Okay. Anything else under new business? We will go to open to the public to speak. If you'd like to speak, please come to the lectern, state your name and address for the record. Again, this is your opportunity to speak to council, not a back and forth with council, unless I decide, okay. Anybody? Going once? What, Troy, come on, you don't have anything else to say? Did you fall asleep back there? Did you fall asleep?
No, I'm listening.
Then I'm not that boring.
I got a lot to say, but I'm good.
You'll save it for later?
Well, you know, I'm very proud of Mineral Lake. And to be on council, sir, we are on the lake. And that vision, I've had that for years. And, I'm grateful when I have another chance, and you know. To add something to, you know, on the lake, it's prestige. We're on the lake. And that's a very rare thing, around the Great Lakes. So we have responsibilities and we have accountability, to make that lake work for us. Get a citizen down to it, where they can enjoy it. That's just a chance. So I'm thinking, I have another opportunity to maybe push things forward. A little better. Thank you.
Mrs. Winters, do you want to speak?
I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I get to say my name, I'll do it again.
Sure.
Are you joking or?
Yeah, that way she has again for the record.
Okay. Yes. 5938 Mayor, if we do that thing, I would like to.
Sure.
We would do my neighbor, if everybody else wants to. Are we allowed to ask you guys to come in, or we're not allowed, like Mr. Jackson?
Yeah, you can ask us whatever you want, yeah.
Would you?
Sure.
Come in with us?
Sure.
Cause I really don't know what to ask them, you know, I was looking for backup to help me answer some questions and stuff. If you have time, Mark, if you
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Thank you. Thank you, Billy.
sure. Anyone else like to speak tonight? Hearing none, we'll close this portion of the public speak. We will now move on to announcements and settings of meetings. I guess we have a committee, of the whole meeting, you have to count her.
I do.
Okay. What are people's availability? Who's available August 26th when we don't have a council meeting? I've been trying to do this all year. He'll come back one day. I hope.
I do have something that day.
You have something that day, really?
I honestly do.
What about Monday, the 25th?
The room is open.
I'm good.
That's the park and rec meeting.
Oh, you're right.
So
Not open.
that, sorry, that's the special meeting.
It's not,
Depends if you do it,
it's not,
It's not on the calendar yet.
it's not on the calendar.
well, because it's not necessarily, well, we should still resume.
We do
Can
want
you-
to send that in.
What's our next choice?
Yeah, I have it here.
Thursday, the 28th.
I'm good.
Thursday 28th? Thursday 28th? Committee of the whole.
I got it, okay.
Mayor, Thursday 28th sound all right to you?
Yes, sir.
It's fine.
Or 7.
Anybody got a problem with Thursday 28th at what time? 7?
7.
7 PM, August 28th. Menor Beach Park. Discussion, committee of the whole.
Ordinance is gonna be August 21st at 7 PM.
And I have a comprehensive plan committee. What else would you like on there?
Kevin, you said Parks and Rec was canceled for 8/14.
Correct, the 14th, we're meeting, special meeting the 25th.
Planning and zoning's next meeting would be on the 1st, but that's Labor Day, so it has been rescheduled for September 8th at 6 PM. And do we currently have a zoning committee meeting scheduled or not?
And then comprehensive.
I don't think so.
The chicken food.
And you can.
And the new thing we just got assigned.
Yep.
Can we schedule we don't have a zoning committee meeting yet. All right. Is anybody available the week of September, the week of Labor Day, following Labor Day? Wednesday the 3rd? Thursday the 4th?
Those days are both open.
Thursday the 4th. So. So Thursday, September 4th, at what time? 6:30?
6:30.
For zoning? Okay. Cute.
Items, topics.
Everything that's left over, that would be. The conditional use, oh, you know what? Yeah, that'll be, actually, let's not do the September 4th because. The conditional use permits will be on the September 8th planning and zoning meeting, so there won't be a appointed meeting before that. And I'm not sure if the parking one will be on yet, so actually, let's meet after that. Are you guys available the week of the 15th? Let's plan that instead. Tuesday, the 16th, Wednesday, the 17th, Thursday, the 18th. Any of those days? All right. How about Tuesday, the 16th? It's available. Okay, thank you. So Tuesday, 9/16 for zoning at 6:30 PM. Then we'll have that stuff back.
Anybody else?
Finance committee.
Finance committee, okay.
How many? Yes, no, yes. What is this for?
Question for the law director as it relates to the way the voting went down for the levy. We're appropriating funding for a project which the voters want something. In my mind, the project should be 1.9 plus 300,000, so roughly $2.2 million. We have not heard any figures yet or a timetable to which we're gonna be utilizing this funding. The hence of my email to Parks and Recs, because their title scheduled meeting was beautification. I did not vote for a passage of beautification, put in a $500,000 bathroom. So as the law director, the language in which the ordinance was passed to create a beach and the illusion of access. To me, it's two separate entities that were putting the horse before the carriage, hence my email. Second to that, after my email, there's been addressed that we have 3 pieces of that park that are illegal and unpermitted. Legally, what has been done, that you've been presented with that notion that the storm drain sewer outlet is illegal, and the 2 abutted properties with their revetment is illegal. Not permitted. So there's other entities financially, fiduciary, it's gonna affect the city going forward. So the financial meeting, basically to make sure, plus Menor Beach Park. You know, we have that until now.
If we don't have those numbers, I'm not sure what the meeting would
What schedule your meeting would help though, if we don't have those numbers.
Plus, with Envision's proposal and acknowledgement that we going to allow the city to endeavor potentially a pilot public relationship with residents, taxpayers' monies to entice corporations. I don't have the titles in front of the SIC and all those other entities. I would like to see the finance committee get above that. Set parameters, if legally we can set parameters to cap projects to entice corporations into our city. And plus, they also want to look at CRA again, opening it back up and expanding that per the Envision plan. So I'd like to know legally, the city can cap it. I know we can create an ordinance, we'll shut down the ordinance the last 10 years with the Community Reinvestment Act, so. Those are two plans for Envision to go forward with our steering committee as that goes forward. How much of the city's taxpayers' money do we want to give up to entice a company to come in there? So we don't have that, I just want to rainfall that. So if anybody wants to participate in that, to get ahead of that ideology, taxpayers' money is going to other entities.
Okay, so finance committee meeting, or did you want to have this?
Anybody available the fourth weekend in September?
Which day?
Calendar.
We do the 22nd.
Yes.
The only day that's not available is that Tuesday. But the whole week is open the rest of that week on the calendar. I'm available any day that week.
Any day, I mean, council's on Tuesday, but any day.
Right.
Good preference.
You can't meet before council, can you?
Should be good if we schedule it
Oh,
now.
can you though?
Oh,
before
before council, no,
Yeah,
not on
okay, I
Tuesday.
didn't think so. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm available any day.
You'll be on Thursday, 7.
You wanna do the 25th or do you wanna do the week before, the 18th, so we do it before council?
No, I meant, I,
Right.
25th.
25th, okay.
Thursday, the 25th.
That's a 7?
Yep.
All right, finance committee meeting Thursday, the 25th of September at 7 PM. Anybody else?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Thompson, seconded by Mrs. Moore for adjournment. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Moore,
Aye.
Mrs. Thompson,
Aye.
Mr. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Bittner,
Aye.
Ms. Long,
I
Mr. Lunder,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye. We are adjourned.
I need to know 100,000% that that will be online for me, because I want to order ran out. I'm already halfway through.
It sounded like it was recording, so.
Yeah.
Nice, slow.
But it needs to be posted.
Yeah.
Oh, no. And I threw my phone on microphone camera, like down, obviously I didn't video anything, but it should be good, just in case. Should be good. Taylor. Yeah.
I agree.
You October 23rd.
Yes.
All right. We need to update because council would like to know.